What is up, good people, and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, please consider subscribing so that you don't miss out any of my future videos. So if you've been on my particular channel for any amount of time, you may have realized that over the course of the last few months I had been doing videos on Upwork, and that's specifically because I wanted to tell fellow designers like me, I'm an architectural designer myself, how they can be able to turn their skills into actual money on the internet. And I had dedicated a few of my last few videos to this endeavor specifically. As of a few months ago, however, I no longer do those videos, and that is definitely a story for another day. I got banned on Upwork, and I decided, we've got this saying in our place that, when the cooking spoon breaks, it's not the end of the cooking. So I decided to hop on another of one of these online job boards. It's called Fiverr.com. And basically Fiverr is very interesting because unlike Upwork and most of these other job boards, you do not have to apply for jobs. Your only work is to advertise your services, and then the buyers are gonna come to you. However, you've got to be able to do it the right way so that customers actually come to you. So what I have today, I just actually became a level 1 seller on Fiverr. So I'm going to be sharing a few tips on how to actually be able to make gigs that make money, which is obviously what everyone else wants to do, especially when you're in this business of design. You may be designing logos, you may be designing houses like me, you may be designing websites, but generally the ideas are the same, and I'm going to be sharing with you a few tips on how to actually be able to make gigs that sell, gigs that make you money. So without much further ado, let's get into the video of today. So number one, your gigs must solve a question, and this is very important. Your gigs must be solving a problem such that a client is willing to spend money on your gig, on somebody they haven't met before, to fulfill their needs. So you have to actually study the needs of your clients very, very seriously, and then I'll actually put myself into the shoes of my client and ask myself, what would they be specifically searching for in order for them to actually need to come to my gig. So I basically list down a number of questions or a number of queries that I think someone might be looking for when they come to my gig, and then I'll fine-tune my particular gig to be able to feature most of those keywords and to answer most of these questions. And that's basically the most important part when you're starting out. You just don't want to to go and paste some words on Fiverr that nobody identifies with in the name of selling a service. You've got to first of all dig very deep and understand what your client actually searches for. Google.com may come in very handy when you want to actually now go a step further and know the actual keywords that your clients use to search, or that your clients are going to search for before they get into your gig. Of course, that may be the topic for another day, especially on how to go about getting these keywords. But for a start, just dive yourself into the actual queries that your clients are gonna be searching for, and then fine-tune your gigs into these particular keywords. So number two, your gigs have to be visually striking. And Fiverr is notorious, or famously for that matter, a very visual platform. Your work sells itself, and you don't have to apply for a job. People come and view images, and if these images and video gigs that you put on your gig are not visually striking, and humans generally tend to be very visual creatures, you're not going to get any hits or impressions, or in that case clicks on your gig, and so you're not going to have sales. So the most important thing is that you make sure that you have very nice images and some very nice, in fact, videos are recommended. Apparently the conversion rate for gigs with videos is much higher than those with just images. So make sure that you get into that very particularly, and make sure that the images and the videos that you put on your gig is something memorable. It's something someone will remember, and if they're looking for something, it's something that may coerce them to make the buying decision, which is the most important thing. That's what we are looking for in this case. Number 3, you've got to be able to break down your services into sub-services, if you may. So sub-services are, for example, myself, I'm a homes designer. Or when I look at someone who would be needing a home designed for them, what I'm going to think of is, some people may need photo renders of these designs. Some people may just be wanting a normal floor plan, a technical floor plan. Some people may be wanting to see how the facade will look like. And then now when I have all this kind of variations for my service, that is the basis which I'll use now to make my gigs. So remember, this is just one service. I'm just offering home design services. But then once I look deeper into these services, then turns out that I can actually break them down into particular very small services. For example, someone may be wanting a cross section, someone may be wanting a master plan for their property, for their lot. And once I have this in mind, then I'm able to do very specific gigs. And remember, specificity, niching down is the most important thing here on Fiverr, because people are generally coming here with very specific questions when they come to Fiverr to hire people. So that's also very important to keep in mind, that break your main service into sub-services. Number 4, make sure that you're clear and concise with your requirements. What this basically means is that don't bore people with too long paragraphs, too long gig definitions, but make sure that in your small gig description that you have included basically you've included everything that a client needs to know before they can make the buying decision. So that is what we call being concise, that you hit the nail on the head instead of going round and round. Just go right into the thing and tell them, this is what I'm going to get you and this is how much it's gonna cost. And you've got to have confidence in your service as a designer or as a Fiverr seller, because without that confidence, it's almost like clients can be able to see through your Fiverr profile. They are able to tell this guy is perhaps just bullshitting, and therefore really not worth my investment in terms of money. So make sure that really that you are concise. Make sure that you're concise and clear with your gig description, and that's actually very important. And then lastly, number 5, make sure that you use original work. Of course, if you don't use original work, what usually happens is that Fiverr may ban you. But also, even if they don't discover that it's not your original work, as I said before, it's almost like it's as if almost like clients are able to see through your facade and through your lies, and or it's as if they're able to read through the lines of your profile and tell that this guy is perhaps not genuine, even in the way that you describe your gigs, and even in the work that you give. Your original work always tells a story, and that story is very important when a client is coming to you for some services. So also keep this in mind, that except for not getting banned, please also use original work, because it helps you tell your story and tell your skills, and tell about your abilities and your style and even your taste, which is very important on Fiverr, because most people are not even looking to have these are just one of jobs with very specific requirements, which if you do not meet, I'm sorry, but people are not gonna like you, and people may not even give you those 5-star reviews, because they are not worth it, they are not real. And so guys, that's the 5 most important tips, at least in my opinion, on becoming a successful seller on Fiverr. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please make sure to give us a thumbs up. You know, it helps us get motivated to make more videos like this. And also subscribe so that you receive notifications about my content every time I post a new video. Otherwise, till next time, see you and stay safe.